Hello, welcome to DNA tutorial video number 1. Okay, let's start off by, what color should we pick here? Let's go with a nice dark blue. Let's review the structure of DNA. So here's DNA in its lovely little double helix form, okay? And DNA, when you unravel it, okay, let's unravel the DNA just to make it look a little bit easier here, okay? All right, so we have DNA, and once again, the rungs of the ladder of DNA are composed of what we call the bases. And the bases are the A's, the T's, the C's, and the G's. Adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. Okay, and you can have any combination of this going this way and going that way. Okay, we know that A always pairs with T, T pairs with A, C pairs with G, G with C. So here we have a C, T, T. So some combination like this is what DNA is, and this is what we call hydrogen bonding. Okay, would hold these bases together. It's a very loose bonding, and the reason is, as we get into the next section, this has to be easy to what we call unzip. I have to be able to take these two sides apart. It's kind of like Velcro. So if I label this, I might go up here and say hydrogen bonds, and in parentheses I'm going to put Velcro. The reason is this has to be easy to undo and then easy to re-zip. Okay, so this double helical form of DNA is composed of bases, and of course this part of the DNA is composed of the sugar plus the phosphate. Okay, and the sugar is called deoxyribose, and the phosphate is just P. Phosphorus is a P with several oxygen atoms attached to it, so you can find those on the periodic table. All right, and this forms the sides of the ladder of DNA. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. All right, so now, and we'll just for convenience sake, let's change colors. Let's go for a nice dark green here. Okay, now let's get into the idea of genes and chromosomes. Okay, so if I have DNA like this, here's our double helix, okay, like this, da 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 da. Okay, ooh, extra credit, X-cred. Watson and Crick are widely credited with the discovery of the structure of DNA, but there is a third person who is oftentimes and sadly left out of the whole business. Who was this person who helped Watson and Crick elucidate the structure of DNA and has been so unfairly treated historically? Extra credit. Okay, anyway, so here we go. I'm going to change colors again. Let's go back to blue. So if I take a section of DNA here, okay, this section of DNA is going to be called a gene. Now this can be short, it can be long, it depends on the size of the product. What do genes make? Genes make proteins. Well, they don't actually make it, they code. These are the instructions for the making of proteins, okay? And what are proteins? Proteins can be one of several things. I can be either a structural protein. A structural protein could be keratin or collagen, things that make up our skin or our hair, actin and myosin, the structural proteins that make up muscle. Our body is composed of thousands of different structural proteins. You are what you eat, okay? If it's not a structural protein, it might be a hormone. Okay? The best example of a protein hormone that we've learned so far is about insulin. Insulin is actually a very small gene, codes for a small protein, and it allows sugar to get from the blood inside your cells. So proteins can be hormones. And of course, we've also learned about enzymes. Okay? Okay, so enzymes are, of course, we learned before, these are functional proteins. They do things. They either put things together or take things apart. And there are other things that proteins can be. We have in the cell membrane, we have membrane proteins. And these things are things like channels, okay, binding sites. Okay, so when the hormone insulin binds to the outside of a cell, it has to bind to another protein. Okay, so there are lots of things that proteins can do. Okay, so when we have a gene is simply a section of DNA that is coding or the instructions to make a certain protein. But look at all the different things that proteins can do. Okay, so a combination of all these functions allows our bodies to be built and allows our bodies to function. So what we're really interested in, okay, in this topic here though, let's go yellow, is this whole idea of gene to protein, okay, and this is called excuse me, the central dogma, okay, of biology. This whole idea that a gene codes for a protein, all right? And that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about the DNA, okay? So we're going to go ahead and pause there, and this is going to get us up to that particular point, and we'll pick it up in the next little video.